Oh my gosh. There was a huge windstorm right now at Lake Mead Recreation Area. In fact, we're under a wind advisory until like 7 o'clock. And it's so windy that they said that it could get up to 50 miles per hour. What do I do? What do I do? I cracked my door just a little bit so I could see how bad it was. And it's just like blowing my door. Let's try to open. Okay, here we go. Oh, no. Okay. That did not work. Okay, adventurers, so this is kind of a weird scenario. What do you do when you might be stuck in the back of your van? Like, really, what do you do? This is a little wild today, unlike any other adventure day that I've been on, and I think that I need to get it together and find a way out of here. I don't know where I'm gonna go yet, but I just feel like where I am, it is way too windy. So I'm gonna put myself together and then let's go. Ooh. Oh, it's so windy. Whew. Okay, guys, that was hard. That was super, super hard. So today, instead of going on an outside adventure, I think that we are instead going to make this into a inside day. So we're going to Starbucks. You guys are always asking me what I do when the weather is not good. And there are several different things that I have the option to do. So on days like today, whenever I'll be fighting up to 50 mile per hour winds possibly, I choose to instead take an office day. I'm gonna do all the little things that I can do inside. I'm gonna get some editing done, and you're gonna come along with me to see what this kind of day in van life looks like. Now, you guys have asked me many times what I do when the weather is bad, considering I have such a small space. And there are several different solutions for this. Number one, I can stay in the van. And if I stay in the van, I can either color in my coloring book, which I absolutely love doing. It's just a really de-stressing time for me. Or I can watch Netflix, or I can work from my van. And all of those are very valid options. However, today, since the van is physically rocking because of the wind, it's a little different than just a rainy day. Instead, I think that I am going to do something really, really productive. And I'm gonna go into town and try to escape some of the wind. I think that that's a smart bet for me. And then also, while I'm at it, I can run a few errands and then return back to my campsite and cross my fingers that it's not as windy. But if it is, I can reposition my van to work better for the wind. But first, we have to get out of the van to dump our trash. Oh no! I might regret this, but I'm rolling down my window. Oh goodness. Okay. Woo! Oh, the wind. Oh, the wind. Yes. Okay. That's all done now. Now, why did I roll down my window? That's probably what you're wondering. Well, when it's windy like this, your doors can unexpectedly randomly close, and I've had that happen once, and I basically locked myself out of my van. I was fortunate that I was actually at base camp when this happened, but after that I started putting some safeguards in place. And by safeguards, I mean that I roll down the window now if I'm just walking a couple of feet away. It's just habit now at this point. But yeah, there's that. On the road we go. Definitely can feel the pull of the wind. It's pulling us to the right-hand side pretty hard. Driving in the wind is like the most exhausting thing on earth. It just definitely is. You can take a regular drive that normally is like a 2-hour drive. You can add wind to it and it instantly feels like you were on the road for 8 hours. The wind is one of those things that, even though it doesn't appear to be as bad as like rain or ice, it can actually be worse on the road. And so days like today, even though I am getting out and I am driving, I'm doing so with a lot more caution, and my muscles at the end of this drive are going to be super stiff if this persists. I have about 15 miles to get to Starbucks, and in 15 miles, yeah, that's gonna be a struggle bus today. It's that windy. And this is the thing about the desert. It is deceiving, because here you see that there are these low-lying little pieces of brush and things like that that are just flopping around a little bit, and it doesn't appear to be that bad. But these things are designed to hold up to this nasty and gnarly desert condition. So they don't look like they're doing near as much as they really are. The wind is actually super gusty. And I wanted to say that because I think a lot of times whenever you're watching a video at home, it's hard to translate weather. It's super hard to translate weather, especially when it's something like wind. Wind is one of those things that you can't physically see, and because you can't physically see it, whenever I'm talking about it, it's just not translating to the same as whenever I'm physically experiencing it. This morning, whenever I tried to open the door, it literally blew the door closed. It was intense, to say the least. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to share this experience with you all so you can kind of know, you know, what's going on and why it's like that and what really happens on the road. Now, if I were in a higher clearance vehicle, I probably would not be driving to town today. My van zips and zooms through the wind decent, but taller vehicles I know can feel very uneasy, especially when you're detaching like an RV or something like that. And I know that they can start to do the little road dances. I've seen it many times. So having a small vehicle does have its advantages, to say the least. You see that right there? That is a full gas tank. I went ahead and ran my other errands while I was out today, and this was one of them. I mean, ultimately, every single day we have an opportunity to do something amazing. Now, some days the weather, like today, are going to make that a little bit harder. However, we have the choice every day to make lemons into lemonade or just to kind of sit there and be defeated. And I think that's the main reason why I wanted to do today's video. It's not so much about the activities that we did or even kind of what ultimately happened as a result of the wind. It was more so about showing that in van life, you have to be flexible. You have to be able to say, hey, I wanted to do this, it's not gonna work out, so let's do something different instead. And so that's why today's video got made. It's not the longest of videos. I'm gonna show you a few views of my campsite once I get back, but overall, I think that these kind of videos, they're valuable too. It's not always about the cool places or the crazy things. It's about the reality. And reality is sometimes the weather's weird. That's what you get whenever you are mobile all the time. Okay, back to the recreation area we go with our little pass. I gotta check into the window right here, and then all will be good. Okay guys, we checked in and now we're gonna go back out to the campsite. Now I do have an America the Beautiful pass, which is super handy because it allows me admission to all of the national parks and national facilities for a one-time cost of 80 bucks. I've talked about that on some of my other videos, but definitely using it here at Lake Mead also. Now, as you can see, eventually I am gonna have to get the van a bath because it has just been super dusty out here. And I probably would have done that today, but I knew I was coming back, so it would have been kind of pointless. But yeah, look at this. This is gross. But it's okay, it's okay. Another thing that can be taken away from van life, it's dirty, it's very dirty. Depending on where you're staying, it can be nasty, super nasty. But I will find a car wash eventually and I'll get some of the bugs and yuck kind of washed off and everything will be fine again. I just like to, more than anything, keep it where I can see out of my front window. And we're not to the point where I can't yet. So we have a couple more days at least. Oh, that's right. I picked up some food because it is still very windy outside and it is actually quite cold. And so I knew that cooking outside would be a bit more difficult, and even opening my doors so I could cook would be very difficult. Again, it's all about adaptability. And on days like today, I always make sure that I treat myself a little bit more kindly, because I know that if I were to sit here and fight it out trying to cook a whole meal with this gusting wind, it would be very, very hard. So instead I just picked up some food that I like. No big deal. And I'm actually about to put up my window shade and go to the back and probably have just a Netflix and chill kind of night, to be honest. I wasn't able to charge my solar a whole lot because the wind was crazy, and I didn't do a ton of driving, which would boost it all the way up. So my Jackery is currently at about 38%. My Blue Eddy is about 60%, which is pretty good. And my Rock Pals is at about 45%. Again, not exactly where I usually like to be, but it works. And I have plenty of power for the night for me to be able to just relax a little bit. The nice thing is I was at Starbucks all day, so I don't really have a ton of editing to do tonight, so I can do this for me. It's all about prioritizing your time when you're in a van and, again, making the most of it. Can you hear it? The windstorm isn't going anywhere. I ate my dinner, I got ready for bed, I'm all cozy in the back, and now we sleep. Some days are like this. From start to end, wind, wind, wind. And today just happened to be this day. It even sprinkled for a little while, and you know, in the desert, that's a good thing, but also it can be a very scary thing. So immediately, as soon as I heard it, I pulled up the weather app just to make sure. Now, whenever you're in the desert and you have random rain, always do that, guys, always. Because especially if you're parked near a wash or something like that, it can be very dangerous. So that's what I did, even though I'm nowhere near a wash, just to check it out. But yeah, this is a random day in my van. That's been a little bit of a different kind of video, yes. But at the same time, again, stuff like this happens. If you've enjoyed coming along with me for this little dose of reality, then make sure that you leave a like, hit the subscribe, and I'll share more of the crazy, weird kind of stuff that happens on the road as we go. You know, you can't control some things, but at least I controlled making it into a good day. Till next time, guys. Bye! Okay, let's give it a go. See what it's like today. A beautiful day. What a difference less than 12 hours can make.